I don't know what's worse, the potential repeated fake out of Moon's death, or just the fact that we're cutting away completely and giving no answer. All I can think of is they're maybe possibly trying to sort of make us warm up to ESoul before we get into the fact that he just killed Moon, if he did kill her. Because, yeah, it does seem like based on the after commission date, it does look like this entire episode was like 5 years prior. Like they're in this area of 36 years after commission, whereas the time that Lin Ling becomes nice is 41. So this is 5 years prior. And all I can think of is what they're currently trying to do is set up for Yang Qing to become ESoul. Or at least he's going to be a candidate to replace them. So I think there are two things that are potentially happening here. Either we are getting to like this current ESoul, which is the guy that saved Yang, or we're setting up for ESoul to get killed and then Yang replaces him, or the potential that Yang is ESoul. Which I'm kind of more leaning towards the idea of Yang taking over the role of ESoul. And then that's going to leave this big conundrum for us as the viewers after seeing him kill Moon, as if we want to see this dude die. If we really do want to see Lin Ling take out Yang, essentially. I don't know that it really has the guts to turn Lin Ling into being a vindictive, evil guy. But again, he just lost the one that he loved, the one that he essentially dedicated himself in order to save and to get with. Like, this is his girl. He was going to risk his life for her. I don't know. That seems like that's all that seemed to be lining up for. But it's kind of surprising to kind of see this jump back. And again, to kind of get into who ESoul is as a person. And I'm no doubt that Yang is replacing ESoul, because it does seem like, one, they keep pointing out the fact that ESoul has never shown his face. Despite being in service for, 34 years, he never showed his face. And then two, the fact that Yang is now inheriting his ability. Because Pamelo wanted him so badly to be a hero, to be ESoul, he became his one trust, and that gave him the power of ESoul. Like, that whole situation right there, he was literally becoming with the power of ESoul through the trust that he was gaining from Pamelo. So yes, now with Shang kind of confronting him, which seems like he's somehow tied in with his corporation, he could end up being the one they actually bring in to replace him. I think that whole situation there where they had the competition, I think right there Shang was going, that's the one. Like, literally on that stage, he says, that guy right there, Yang, he's the one, choose him. But then it shows that little shot where they take the information back to what seems like his boss or his dad or whatever, and at that point they shut it down. No, he's got zero trust. Can't work with that. He's got nowhere to start from, which I think overall that's what's sort of interesting about this episode, and what sort of is the intriguing aspect of it, is getting into the idea of starting from zero. That is what Yang is. He's somebody that starts from zero. Yes, technically, Ling, you can possibly say that he is someone similar, and the idea that he is also somebody that may have started from zero. I don't remember if they ever showed his trust value before he actually became nice, but this is the guy that is going to start from literally zero, at potentially having a boost similar to Nice, where he's going to don the armor, and they're going to say, this is the ESoul, not, Yang that's dressing up like him, a fake, and then he just gets all of his powers. But having that starting point of one, he's got that kickoff point. This episode is sort of showing how if you're at zero, you don't have any strength whatsoever to gain a fandom. That's what it's really saying. He wanted to become like ESoul, but because he lost his parents, he had zero trust, and thus he had no strength whatsoever to kick off from. How can you become a hero unless you have that initial power? Now, granted, the answer to that is situations like the fireman, the furman. His whole situation was that he was just a fireman. He just went in there and rescued people, and that gained him his trust, that made him super strong. With Yang, yeah, technically it's him finally stepping out there, protecting this kid, putting his life in the risk in order to save Pamelo. And that's what gets him that initial kick. Suddenly he has one person, suddenly he has powers. And his powers are, again, a manifestation of what Pamelo wanted him to be, which was to be ESoul. So he became ESoul. It's really cool. I like that sort of perspective. Though I will admit, first half of this episode was okay. I think that this first half of this episode was, of all the episodes, was kind of rough to get through. I will admit. I think it's a cute little scenario here. Again, this guy that just wants to be like ESoul. It kicks things off with a Batman start. The entire episode started, it looked like Batman. The idea of the back alley, the kid just loses his parents, they're just killed, and then suddenly the hero shows up. Of course, with Batman, the hero didn't show up. But yeah, that's when ESoul shows up. saves him, asks him what his name is, and from then on, Yang desired to be just like ESoul. That became his dream. He wanted to meet ESoul again. He wanted to be just like him, and thus he started dressing up like him. Kind of see later on those little shots of him when he was in orphanage, which was really, really tough to watch, which really made the second half really great. But yeah, he kind of fought for that position. Eventually starts to do all these little appearances, acting out as ESoul. Really cool to kind of see that it seems to be that way back in the past, at some point, Pamelo has always been watching him. Always been in the crowd, always watching him. But it seems like at some point during his performances, he started getting worse at it. So it does seem like Pamelo is sort of somebody that kind of says, hey, I've watched you for a long time. You used to have this passion. You used to imbibe this guy, but it seems like you've kind of lost that spark. And I guess that can be kind of attributed to the idea of him eventually kind of losing some sort of hope in what he could eventually be. And again, meeting ESoul. But yes, he's wanting to get with this girl. And yes, finally, Lucky Cyan is mentioned. For those that don't know, I have been waiting patiently for the appearance of Lucky Cyan. Like, Lucky Cyan is literally, from the PVs, was the character that I wanted to see the most. Like, I just love her character design. It looks like an idol-like character. I'm just all for it. Like, there's Queen in the PVs. I've seen her. She looks amazing as well. But it's always been Lucky Cyan. Like, that's the one character that I want to watch. Like, that's the character from the PVs that initially grabbed me to want to watch the show. So I've been waiting. So the moment that he's on his bike and he's riding and he's like, I got these Lucky Cyan tickets. I'm like, wait, is that who you think he's talking about? Oh my gosh, Lucky Cyan. And yeah, sure enough, later on, it shows the tickets in his hand. And sure enough, Lucky Cyan's on those tickets. I'm like, oh my gosh, they finally mentioned my girl. I swear she's going to be the last character to get shown on the show just to spite me. There's other characters I want to see. Like, I want to see the dog, the wolf boy, Lolly, the robot girl, Lolly. There's a lot of characters I want to see, but Cyan's the one that I want to see the most. But anyways, yeah, he goes to see her, to give her the tickets. Some dude walks in. I kind of like the fact that they sort of give out, like, this is this pretty boy that kind of walks in and interrupts the main character. You kind of feel bad, and you're like, oh, this guy totally stepped in on our main character. It is cool to kind of have that stark contrast that later on, again, it does imply this guy was rooting for Yang, was trying to get him chosen, and then at the very end, he's literally coming out there to scout him. Like, dude, I'm here for you. My dad said no. I'm here for you, dude. I want to recruit you. But yeah, that all fails. He goes to his performance in order to, gain his position at this anniversary event. And yeah, Pamelo totally spats him out. Like, this, Pamelo is like the best heckler ever. This kid's like, everybody else is cheering. They're all happy. He's like, boo, boo, stinks, boo. I will admit, I very quickly, like, I typically, a lot of times, watch the show in English dub because it's a lot easier for me to get screenshots for up here. This is the one episode I switched very quickly. The English voice for Pamelo, she wasn't pulling it off. This lady, it sounded like a 34-year-old, 35-year-old woman that was just voicing this little kid. And I'm like, it just does not sound like a kid. Please stop. It sounds like some grown-up kid just... I hate to say this. It sounds like a Karen that's just completely just mouthing off Yang. Like, just, oh my gosh, it's so horrible. You got terrible at this. It was fine. The kid sounds very grown up for his age, but still, it did ruin it very quickly for him. Like, switch. No, sorry. They ain't cutting it. A lot of the other English voice acting is doing very good for the show, but that one was not doing it. Anyways, yeah, this turns the whole thing where he's seeing her on a regular basis in order to hang out with her little brother, but turns into Pamelo basically helping him out, kind of teaching him the ropes and how to get back to his roots. It's always focused on his gear, but it's actually all about the heart of him. And that really is nice. Again, it does show the kind of aspect of him trying to get back to his roots of his original desire to be ESoul. And that does kind of manifest later on when these dudes get this call to kidnap the boy. I don't think they ever did an answer as to why they were trying to kidnap the boy. I don't know. Maybe I don't think they ever indicated that Shao was special in any way, or that Pamelo was special in any ways, but they're kidnapping Pamelo for some reason. The only thing I can think of is there's a possibility that this isn't some kind of evil organization, but it was actually Shang's group that was kidnapping the boy in order to get him to take action, which that seems like a massive stretch right there. We're indicating from the previous episodes that corporations have gone so far as to have Moon killed, or at least it's implying to me that I'm getting is they wanted Moon dead. that's why they had her killed by ESoul. So I don't doubt them hiring somebody to kidnap a kid nor to get some boy to awaken. I don't know. It just seems like too much of a stretch. So I don't know. Maybe Shao. Maybe I missed something where Shao is special or Pamelo was special. Anyways, this is where things really kicked up for me for the episode. The second half was really, really good. I just thought it was an absolutely incredible set piece. Like, from the moment that boy gets kidnapped, suddenly the episode got good. Suddenly the episode got really, really good. The whole chase, seeing him chasing after him, jumping off the side of the bridge. Yeah, kind of a stretch. The idea that he found some alternate route and met up with them perfectly, whatever. But the whole scene with them just fighting and having the overlay of ESoul doing his speech, talking about the idea of, yes, heroes and how they're kind of the spark for humanity. They kind of fuel humanity itself. Why he doesn't take off his mask all the time is because he's sort of like some sort of beacon. He's got that trust kind of put into himself. Getting the idea of there's a possibility of him not taking off his mask in order to hide himself with a fear of losing something, which again, I can totally see for the idea of a hero themselves hiding there who they actually are in order to protect their family. Because again, technically their family can be targeted for people. But his whole point here at the very end is the idea that, yes, it's just more of the fact that the mask itself is a beacon of hope. You guys always allow me to carry it. This is something that is like a constant reminder, and always to cherish justice and the courage that holds in your hearts. Like this cool little speech that kind of, again, is always playing throughout the entire sequence where you have Yang here just fighting tooth and nail, and then having the flashbacks of Yang himself when he's in this orphanage and he has nothing. He literally has nothing left, and everybody's bickering. The other kids are kind of calling him an idiot for wanting to be ESoul and how he has no trust or whatever. And yet at that point, just still being pushed and wanting to become what his parents wanted him to be, which is to be ESoul someday. It's super cool. And again, that all kind of, again, sort of foreshadows for me anyways, the idea that yes, at some point, Yang's going to be brought in. They're going to make him the next ESoul. Because again, if this guy has been ESoul for 34 years, I wouldn't doubt the dude's wanting to retire. He's getting up there in age or whatever, and so they're probably going to want to pass it on to somebody. And this whole thing is probably this attempt to do that. Again, why would they care that this person that is going to be essentially an actor for ESoul, why would they care that they have zero trust? Because it's more difficult to build off of. If he only has zero trust, why build from that point? Let's build from somebody that has 15 or something like that. It all seems to be lining up for that aspect there. But either way, really cool little ending segment there again. Fighting tooth and nail, the kid yelling out for him finally getting his first trust, and then just the lightning going through him and just shocking the crap out of him. It was just, it was peak. It was super peak. But yeah, rounding up the episode with him going back there and yeah, finally... It seemed like they wanted to still keep it under wrap. He almost was going to tell her, but then Shang shows up again. But yeah, then Shang's like, nope, I'm here to see you, dude. Hey, Yang, I'm here to see you. Reveals it. Pamelo's over there like, shock face, shock Pikachu. Pamelo has a shock Pikachu face over there. Super, super cool stuff. I really did dig this entire episode. Just besides that first half, like I said, it was just kind of a little rough. It was just a little bit too kind of introduction to character that wants to be a hero. It didn't feel like it was doing anything special. It was basically like episode 1, like the first 5 minutes. It's like seeing another person that wants to be a hero that has nothing, and then boom, he becomes a hero. I do appreciate that with at least with this one, his drive to reach that point of becoming a hero wasn't Shao. Because again, Lin Ling already did that. We already did that with him. He wanted to protect the girl that he loves. He wanted to give his life for the one that he loves. With this one, at least it was this boy who, again, the entire time has always looked up to him. It's literally his first fan. The first one that looked up to him as a hero. I'm just more surprised the fact that Pamelo, despite the fact that it seemed like he was always looking up to Yang and always watching his performances, didn't give him one trust. Like that wasn't enough for him to view him as that. It does seem like Yang, ever since his parents died, never had a trust. Which does imply the idea that parental figures can give a person trust, that he had at least 2 trusts from his parents, or maybe 1 if it was only his mom or something like that. Only the mom is the one that's doting on him. But it's still kind of interesting looking there. But you know, that's my thoughts on episode 5 of Tu Bian Yingxiong X. Hopefully this video wasn't too all over the place. I felt like I was kind of rambling all over the place, but anyways, it's fun to talk about. I love the show, so looking forward to next week. Hopefully next week we'll get back to ESoul and the whole thing with Nice, maybe. We're probably going to have another episode of Yang becoming ESoul, I think. But we'll see. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content and you want to support Channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, y'all take care.